Well, it's time for another Send In Your Story, and this time I've been sent one from a lovely young girl called Imogen in Walton Abbey. And her story is called Grace and the Haunted Mansion. It sounds a little bit scary, so you might need to get behind the pillows for this one. Grace was an 11-year-old girl, and she lived with her mum and stepdad in Cauldron Valley. Grace had dark brown hair and glowing blue eyes. Cauldron Valley used to be the home of a dozen witches. One day, the witches cursed a spell on Cauldron, and from that day on, anyone who stepped into the haunted mansion would never leave. One day, Grace was trick-or-treating with her friends Lola and Ruby, where, in the foggy distance, there was a haunted mansion. As they walked up to the mansion, their legs wobbled in fear, and the house seemed to go further and further away, even though the girls were getting closer. They knocked on the door, and it creaked open. Grace went in, whilst Lola and Ruby stayed outside. After a few minutes, there was a terrified scream from inside the mansion. They got worried about Grace, so they took a few deep breaths and went in. Lola and Ruby couldn't find Grace, and they were so anxious she would not come out. What were they supposed to say to Abby, Grace's mum? They didn't want to worry her. They can't lie to Abby, so they have to tell her the truth, or she'll worry even more. When Ruby and Lola got back to Grace's house, they told Abby what had happened, and she was devastated to hear the bad news. "We tried to stop her, but she just wouldn't listen," they exclaimed. "It's all right, girls. Thank you for being honest. I have decided that right now you will take me to this mansion and we will try and find our terrified daughter." So they got their coats and rushed outside. They ran straight to the haunted mansion, but suddenly where they got to the spot where it had been, it had disappeared. But Abby, we swear it was right here," Lola and Ruby cried. So they kept looking, but she was nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, they came to a cliff edge, and it seemed to be an everlasting drop. They looked some more, but still no sign of Grace. Although there was one place that they hadn't looked. Over the cliff edge. And there she was, hanging on one branch, one-handed and about to fall. But her mum saved her, magically lifting her up in the air with no hands. They were so happy, especially Abby. There was a very big secret Grace's mum needed to tell them. And that secret was she was actually a witch. Luckily, a good witch. And after all, she did save Grace. And the best part was, she shared her powers with them. When they got back to Grace's house, they all decided to keep their powers a big secret. What will their next adventure be? The end. Imogen, that was a fantastic story. I loved the imagination you've got there, and I'm really, really glad it wasn't as scary as I thought it might be, especially when the title said it was a haunted mansion. And I'm so glad you had a happy ending as well. If you've written your own story and you'd like to send it in, get onto my website. It's grantkoper.com. Hope to see you soon.